We don't want the only good bit of dating evidence we find to be on the spore heap.
Archaeologist Helen Geek wants the metal detectorists to check the trenches so as not to miss any clues, particularly to the type of soldiers living here. We don't know for sure, but we'd expect this fort to be occupied by auxiliary soldiers.
Based on the size of the fort and the aerial photographs, we suspect it auxiliary soldiers, not the main citizen legionaries.
So auxiliaries, is that kind of like territorials?
No, these are the provincial soldiers, the ones hired by the Romans to do all their frontier work, their fighting work. They would earn their citizenship by working in the army for 25 years. Right. But they're incredibly flamboyant. They're the ones who love parade dressy armour on their tombstones, particularly the cavalry, who are always flashing around with standards and showy parade dress armour.
With the excuse that it's just possible that we might find evidence of the Roman cavalry here at Drumlanrig, we're going to attempt an experiment that's never been done before. And to do it, we've got metalworker Tim Blades making us this rather unusual Roman standard.
It's the Draco, the dragon head-shaped standard, which first appears in the 2nd century, introduced by the Sarmatian cavalry, but it becomes so popular that most of the Roman armies start to use this kind of thing over the next 200 to 300 years.
So are there many archaeological finds?
No, there are very few examples indeed. What we know about them most of all is from stone reliefs, which they're carved on, but the historical sources that not only describe them, but describe the awe-inspiring and eerie sound that they made.
And do we know how that sound is
No, we
produced?
don't. So the challenge for us over the next 2 to 3 days is, can we get a noise out of this?
Absolutely.
It may look like a jelly mould at the moment, but it's far from finished, and tomorrow we should be ready to experiment with the kind of noise it made. It was said to have made an eerie noise, and once we've managed to fit these Chinese whistles inside it, we'll be testing it on horseback with the help of this reenactor. But in the meantime, I want to ask him about a bit of Roman bronze that's been found by our metal detectorist.
Quite conceivably, it could be part of one of the myriad variety of bits that Roman cavalrymen used in their horses' mouths. Yeah. You can see that extensions of that sort. It's possible.
Yeah. But even, let's say, this has got nothing to do with a horseman at all. Is there any proof whatsoever that Alan isn't just dressing up in a totally redundant fashion because there were never any horsemen here at all?
No, there were horsemen here. We know from Tacitus's Agricola that he brought up auxiliary cavalry up here.
It doesn't mean they were here.
No, it does, because look at the landscape down there. In the ancient world with an ancient army, how are you going to be highly mobile, fast, get across this landscape in a matter of minutes rather than hours and days? You come with cavalry like this. Just think of the imposing effect that is going to have on the local people. It's all about power and image. Of course you've got cavalry up here.
But what would a Draco have sounded like as the Roman cavalry charged into battle? Having conducted a quick test on pedal bike, we can't get our Draco to make a noise. Apparently, it's time for Plan B.
Having the flutes inside the dragon head, we're hitting all sorts of problems. The flutes weren't making enough noise, but also the more flutes we put in, the less air we get through the dragon head, so the less well the tail works. So you get into a sort of vicious
so
circle.
all the components aren't working properly together.
That's right.
It doesn't look as bad as I was expecting almost.
Oh, thanks. That's very reassuring, Helen. Thank you so much.
To begin with, they're hidden away inside the head, and it's all neat and tidy. But here, I thought that it might look a bit messy, but actually it's almost reminiscent of the blobs that you see on Roman standards on coins.
Yes,
so it looks quite neat.
That was one of the things which gave us the idea.
So does it work with the whistles on the outside? Could this be the weird sound used to scare the locals some 2,000 years ago? It sounds eerie to me, but it must have sounded really strange in an age that didn't have as many artificial noises as we do today.
Hello, my name's John Gator. Time Team is fan-funded by Patreon. This vital support helps us to make new episodes. Joining Patreon gives you access to exclusive interviews, 3D models and masterclasses, plus lots more.